Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is brisk outside. Currently 39 degrees, high 44, and rain all day. So whatever snow we have is probably going to be gone. And it's time to get out there, start picking up your yard, getting all the debris from winter, all the garbage from people driving by throwing their stuff out on the ground. Get that all up, and get ready for spring So we are in a study of Luke, and we're using Luke to kind of guide us through the Gospels, because Luke wrote that he's writing an orderly account. So he's done the research. He's gone and talked to witnesses, and he's put it down in the best order of events that he could put the puzzle pieces together with. Okay, and so we're in chapter 4, Luke chapter 4, and in Luke chapter 4, Jesus heals a man with an unclean spirit, an unclean demon. And so he's in Capernaum, and he on the Sabbath, and he's preaching, and the people were astonished at his teaching, for his word possessed authority. So his logos, right? That's the word for word here, and that's divine expression. So the way he expressed divinity had authority, right? Not any man can express divinity with authority. I can't. Your pastor can't. No pastor can. Not that type of authority, right? We can research the words in the original language, and you can go to seminary, you could be the doctor of the word like Gamaliel, whatever, but you don't have this type of authority. This is a divine authority given to him by his Father. Okay, so he goes on, and he comes across a man with a demon. Now, I want to point this out. So there's multiple demons in him. So he was in the synagogue, and the man there was with a spirit, an unclean demon, and he cried out with a loud voice, "Ha! What have you to do with us?" So there's multiple demons, but only one speaking. So there's a hierarchy, right? There's a hierarchy in this possession. All right. So there's the speaking one. Jesus of Nazareth, have you come to destroy us? So with that authority, right? And all authority is given unto me. That's what Jesus said. So with that authority, he has the authority to destroy, as admitted by the demon. Okay? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. The Holy One of God. Notice the definite article there, the. There's no others. There's only imposters, right? He's only one Son of God. But Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be silent and come out of him." And when the demon had thrown him down in their midst, he came out of him, having done him no harm. And they were all amazed, and said to one another, "What is this word, logos, divine expression? For with authority and power he commands the unclean spirits." With power, with divine power. It's a divine expression that only God can do. That's why Jesus was 100% God, 100% man, because only God can do that. Okay? Then he goes on, Jesus heals many, right? That's verse 38. Now, this is in Simon's house. This is in Peter's house. Okay? And his mother-in-law is in there. She's ill, and he heals her. Now, if you're trekking with Luke and you're following along in the other Gospels, up until here, Matthew's been kind of in order. Mark has been in order, right? So Matthew chapter 4, Mark chapter 1. Matthew chapter 4, Mark chapter 1. Okay, now here this jumps to Matthew chapter 8. Still in Mark chapter 1, but Matthew chapter 8 right here. And it bounces around a little bit in Matthew. But then in chapter 5, when Jesus calls the first disciples, that's Matthew chapter 4. Okay? I'm going somewhere with this, because as you continue to go, the next the next references in Matthew are from 8 and after. Boom, boom, boom. So in the Matthew account, the Sermon on the Mount happens somewhere here in chapter 5 of Luke. And I kind of put it down after verse 11. Okay, that's where it would be in Matthew. But in Luke, okay, Luke in the little bit of chapter 6 is where Luke records the Sermon on the Plain. Okay, now it's the same thing, but in Luke it's 3/4 of the chapter are dedicated to the Sermon on the Mount. In Matthew, it's 3 whole chapters, 5, 6, and 7 is the Sermon on the Mount. Now, does that make Matthew's account incorrect? No. It's a different style of writing. So Luke is using historical writing, and he's got first person or first-hand accounts and witnesses that he's putting together. Matthew is telling the story himself, right? He's recalling what happened. And if you've ever had got in trouble with your mama, which we all have, and we go to tell the story, we put pieces in the wrong place and we jump back and forth, and that's how you know we're telling the truth. Okay, if everything is rehearsed like Luke's is, and it's very boom, 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 right? And you're listening to multiple accounts and they're all like that, you're going to think something's funny with that because you're going to think it's rehearsed or they talk to each other. But Mark and Matthew and Luke, they didn't talk to each other when they wrote these. It's different styles of writing for different purposes, right? Matthew is focused on the teachings of Jesus in that section. Here, the purpose of Luke's writing is to give an orderly account of the events. Okay, so that's why I said, we're going to see that the Sermon on the Mount comes here in chapter 5 in Matthew. Well, that's where in Matthew's retelling it happens, but in Luke it's a little further down. So, all right. So Jesus, he's preaching in the synagogues. We're back to Luke chapter 4. I want to, as a matter of fact, go back to 41. So now the sun was setting, and he laid hands on every one of them and healed them. And demons also came out of many, crying, "You are the Son of God." You are, like, there's no wiggle room there. You are the Son of God. But he rebuked them and would not allow them to speak because they knew that he was the Christ. Notice the definite article in Christ that literally means anointed. They knew he was the definite, no other ones, anointed God. The anointed God, the anointed Christ, the one that has authority to speak what? Divine expression. He's anointed to do it by God the Father as God the Son walking the earth. Come on, man.